Well, hey guys, um, Jim Hoovy here. Jim Flies 2. I've got this is going to be a little bit different segment. I'm of course going to be doing a drum cover soon, but this one is a story that's kind of touching. I think, yeah, at least it moved me, um, and I want to share that with you because it has to do with my drums and somebody I met at a class reunion recently, just a week ago. So I went to my 40th class reunion and I saw a friend of mine there, Lars, his name is, big, tall Norwegian guy, gentle giant, right? And I said, hey, how you doing? What's going on? That kind of, typical stuff you would say when you only see somebody every 5 years or so. And I said, where's Kara? And Kara was Lars's wife. And he said to me, Kara passed away. And I'm so sorry. I had no idea, just like a year and a half ago. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't get those newsy updates. And I don't get my hometown newspaper. So anyway, I, I said that I was sorry, and I was very sad to hear that and asked what had happened and etc. And, cancer and all that. And and then it was a bright mood though, pretty much. Yeah, it was a party. It was fun, lots of people there. And then he said to me, he says, yeah, he'll still have her snare drum. And I said, I sure do, and I play it all the time. And I said, in fact, let me send you a couple of drum covers that have that snare drum that I bought from her. And this Ludwig Supraphonic 6.5 by 14 is the drum, which will now be called Kara. Now, my friend Lars forwarded the videos to her father and brother, as well as to their own children that they had together, and they all loved it. And they were all in tears seeing that drum being played all these years later. And let's step back just for a minute. I met Kara in the summer of 1977 when we were both entering 7th grade. She came from Indiana to Wisconsin. And so this is a new person, nobody knew. And we had our summer band program where we met for about 4 to 6 weeks, I think, learning the basics, rudiments and stuff on the pad, bells and everything. But I remember that she brought this snare drum to one of those first band percussion recitals, or not recitals, but sectionals. And this was the drum, a 6.5 by 14, blue olive badge, Ludwig Supraphonic. And I don't know if it was brand new at the time. I do remember the pitting that a lot of these were prone to get because of the chrome plating not adhering well to the aluminum shell after Ludwig switched vendors for their plating services. You don't see this issue on the older 1960s Supraphonics or the newer Supraphonics, but there was a stretch in the 70s where they had adhesion problems. And I have replaced the cam slide on this strainer with a modern one so that it can fit the straps, but it originally had a 6-hole cam slide that I know I have somewhere, but I just put this one on for convenience. And then I also put the 42 strand snare wires on it. It originally had a 20 strand, but I wanted the 42, kind of like the Bonham thing. And I really like that snary sound and the depth and the tone that this drum has. Everybody knows the legendary tone that the Supraphonics had. Of course, Alex Van Halen played them, and so many drummers. It's a very widely recorded drum. And of course, I have the 5-inch Supraphonic version, a 67. So I don't know. The serial number on it, guys, is 1,160,645. So any Ludwig geeks out there, any ideas on the date? It's 1977 or older, so it's between 1970 and 77. I guess 75 or 76, but it might have been brand new. I'd have to talk to her dad to see when they got it and if they bought it brand new. My guess is they got it used in 1977, just before she started band. They had one of those rectangular blue cardboard type cases. I still have that. I painted it black and stenciled my name on it. But here's the deal. Myself and another guy in summer band were like, wow, cool, look at that drum. That's awesome, Carmine apiece, and little did we know, nothing much about these drums and how great they were and legendary. But I just thought it was cool. And I love the depth and the tone of the drum. It sounded really great. But we played in seventh grade band together, then eighth grade, and finally ninth grade band. Now I continued on my then into high school, my sophomore year, junior and senior year, and I continued in band the whole time. Kara quit band after ninth grade, so in high school she never played in band. And occasionally I'd see her, in the hallways or in the lunchroom or something. I'd say, "Hey, Kara, you still have that snare drum?" "Yeah, I still have it." I said, "Well, if you ever want to sell it, let me know." And she'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to sell it." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." And I wasn't really jonesing to buy it that much, but I thought, hey, if you're selling, I'd find the cash to buy it from you. And so then I would mention this every now and again. And then she'd always say, "No, I don't think I'll be selling that." And one time I saw her at a city, like a fair, like the, I don't know if it was the Sawdust City Days festival that they have up in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, or what. But it was some fair festival. And I saw her there, and I think she was with a friend. Maybe she was Lars. I don't know. I don't know when they started dating and exactly when they got married. But anyway, I um, I saw her at the fair and I said, "Hey, Kara, how you doing?" This was after high school. So it would have been 84 or 85, I think, because I remember playing this specifically in the summer of 85. So it might have been 84, but I'm thinking it was 85 when I bought it. And I said, "Kara, do you still have that snare drum? Are you using it? Are you interested in selling it?" She goes, "No, I'm not using it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'd sell it." I said, "Well, how much do you want for it?" She goes, I don't really know. Maybe I'll ask my dad," or I don't know what she even said, but she wasn't sure. I said, "Okay, well, would you take," I don't even remember what it was. When they were new back in like 71, the catalog list price was $110. And Ludwig usually went up by $5 or so every catalog, that maybe $10 that came out. So if it was a 1977, maybe it listed at like $120 or $125. I don't know. I'd have to check online for those old price lists if they're available. But anyway, we came to an agreement, and I'm sure I wouldn't have paid more than $100. I know myself. Back in the day, I had little money and I was only playing gigs for a living, and I was in college. So I didn't have money, and it was probably somewhere between 50 and $100. I don't think it was 100, but for some reason in my brain, I'm thinking that I offered her and she accepted 75 or 80. I might be wrong. It might have been 100 or just even a little north of that, but I honestly can't remember solidly. But it wasn't terribly a large amount of money. But it was fair, for back in the day. It was totally fair. I mean, that's what they were kind of going for if you saw them used. Um, and Ludwig Speed King pedals were $125 new. So that gives you an idea of where prices were back in 1983, 85. So anyway, I played this in the band I was in, JD and the Back Alley Madmen, in 85, the summer of 85. I played this on the Stevie Ray Vaughan gig that we opened for Stevie Ray in December of '85. I played it on a circus gig that I did in the spring of '86. I think it was March or April, might have been, for that circus tour that I did. And I took this drum specifically, and I probably took my 5-inch version along with as a backup, but I took this one because I wanted that depth and power and projection that I felt this would give me. So this came with on that. Um, I then just played it all over. At that point, I had really two snare drums, a 5-inch Supraphonic and the 6.5 Supraphonic. And then I got a 6.5-inch wood Blue Sparkle Gretsch separate lug snare drum from a guy, I think for $60 in college. I never really liked the sound of it. So ultimately, I sold that a few years later to a guy for, I don't know, $50 or $60 or something like that, maybe 100, I don't know. But he had a Blue Sparkle Gretsch kit in Ohio. I was living at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to have that." And I don't like the sound of it. You can have it. So I gave him a deal, and he was happy. And like I said, it didn't matter to me because I could never get it to sound like I really wanted it. And I've never been a huge fan of Gretsch snare drums anyway, but their drums I love. Snare drums, yeah, I'm a little bit agnostic. Um, anyway, the drum has been with me now for almost 40 years, 38 years, 39 years, and I love it. Kara was a sweet kid. She was a sweet girl, a nice girl, very short. Lars was towering tall. And it does my heart good to know that this brought them some joy, to see the drum that their wife had, that their daughter had, that their brother, their sister had, that got played, and they heard music coming from it back in the late '70s. And it brought back a memory for them. And it did their heart well to heal from that loss, that great loss. And to hear music and to know that this drum is not languishing in some barn somewhere, but that it's being played and it's being loved and enjoyed. This is perhaps my favorite snare drum, and I have 7 snares, but I love this 6.5 by 14. This is my soul. So from here on out, this is Kara, my 6.5 14 Supraphonic, and it'll be remembered as that, and I'll never forget her or her husband, and I'll remember her family kindly, and the joy that this and the tear that this brought them when they got to hear this again, coming through the miracle of the internet. Thanks.